Savannah Chrisley admits that she was shocked at Grayson Chrisley's gross living conditions when she dropped him off at college. Admittedly, she had no idea what to expect when she brought her little brother to start this new chapter of his life. Yet, she expected a lot more than what she saw. So how did she rectify the situation? Keep reading for more details. When Savannah Chrisley's parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, headed to prison, she was left with a huge responsibility. She was the guardian of her two minor siblings, Chloe and Grayson Chrisley. This was a big undertaking given that she was always known as their big sister. Now she was the one who had to lay the hammer down when they misbehaved and were out of line. Fortunately, Grayson graduated high school and was set to head to the University of Alabama come January 2025. Savannah was struggling to say goodbye to her baby brother, but gave the Alabama girls some stern warnings about how to behave. She did not want them acting up when it came to Grayson and wanted him to be on his best behavior. Still, Savannah dropped her little brother off at school, but was taken aback by the gross dorm living conditions. According to People, she and Grayson chatted about this on the latest episode of her Unlocked podcast in which he was a guest. When talking about the decor of the dorm, Savannah said it's so gross. It's like that nasty brown color. Oh my God, no. We need to make dorms great again, you know? Grayson chimed in and shared his sister was over the top with her decor. She ensured he had everything he could possibly need regarding his dorm and more. He noted that they were going to Target every day, to which Savannah asked. Grayson said he was overly prepared. However, he did say his dorm feels much smaller compared to his friends, based on all of the stuff Savannah Chrisley added to it. After hearing how Grayson and Savannah Chrisley worked together, fans and followers appreciated their skills. They were proud of the siblings and how far they had come essentially on their own. For some, it was strange to see how grown-up Grayson was. Yet they missed seeing the family together and wished they would return to television. There were also questions as to where their brother, Chase Chrisley, was. He has been MIA when it comes to his siblings, but hopefully he will come around more. Are you happy that Savannah is taking such amazing care of Grayson? However, did she go overboard with the dorm? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Savannah Chrisley shocked at Grayson's gross living conditions. Savannah Chrisley, the popular reality TV star known for her role on the family-centric show Chrisley Knows Best, has always been a source of support and guidance for her younger brother Grayson. The Chrisley siblings are no strangers to the spotlight, and over the years, Savannah has become a voice of reason, balancing her own personal growth with her deep commitment to her family. But even she wasn't prepared for what she encountered when she decided to visit her brother's living space, an experience that left her not only shocked but thoroughly disgusted. In a recent candid social media post, Savannah opened up about a visit to her brother Grayson's place that left her speechless. Grayson, who has been making waves as a rising star in his own right, had been living on his own for some time. As a teenager with a busy schedule and a growing career, it was clear that he wasn't always at home to maintain his living space. However, when Savannah dropped by unexpectedly, she found herself facing something far worse than she ever imagined. The discovery Savannah's visit to Grayson's home was meant to be a simple, sibling bonding moment. What she didn't expect was to walk into a chaotic scene that would challenge her sense of cleanliness and leave her questioning how Grayson could live like this. In her post, Savannah described walking into the apartment and immediately being hit with a smell that was unbearable, a mixture of stale air, fast food containers, and what she described as something foul that I couldn't even identify. At first, Savannah thought it was just a bad day. Maybe Grayson had simply been busy and hadn't gotten around to tidying up. But as she walked further into the space, her dismay grew. The living room was scattered with clothes, some of them dirty and piled in corners. Fast food wrappers and soda cans were strewn across the coffee table and couch. The bathroom, which she assumed would be the one place that might be in decent shape, was worse than the rest of the apartment. Filthy towels on the floor, a sink caked with toothpaste and soap residue, and an overflowing trash bin that had clearly gone unemptied for weeks. "Grayson," Savannah said in disbelief, recounting the moment, "I can't even begin to explain how gross this is. How could you live like this? This is something you see in a horror movie, not in a place to sleep and eat." The reality of teen living for many young adults living on their own comes with a learning curve. Cooking, cleaning, doing laundry. It's all part of the transition from adolescence to adulthood. But Grayson, who is still navigating the complexities of growing up in the public eye, seemed to have missed the memo about basic household upkeep. Savannah, who is 26 and has managed to build a career and reputation as a responsible and hard-working young woman, was taken aback by the state of her younger brother's living situation. She had always been the responsible one, the one who kept the family together and made sure everyone was on track. She couldn't help but feel a sense of responsibility toward Grayson, even though he was 17 and capable of managing his own affairs. "I get it," Savannah said, trying to empathize with her brother. "You're young, you're busy, you're trying to figure everything out. But this is not acceptable. I know you have a million things going on, but you can't live like this. Your space should be your sanctuary." The younger Chrisley sibling, ever the rebellious teenager, initially shrugged off his sister's comments, brushing them off as typical sisterly concern. He defended himself by claiming that he had been too busy to clean up, especially with all the activities and projects he had going on. Yet even he had to admit that the state of his apartment was far from ideal. "I guess I've let it slide a little," Grayson confessed in a rare moment of humility. "But I didn't think it was that bad." The gross details Savannah continued to explore the apartment. It became clear that Grayson wasn't exaggerating when he said it was a little messy. What Savannah found was much worse than just a little disorder. The bathroom, as she mentioned earlier, was an absolute disaster. The floor was covered with dirty clothes, which was nothing new for teenagers, but the real shocker was the shower. The shower, according to Savannah, had not been cleaned in what seemed like months. Soap scum had built up, and there were even signs of mold growing along the grout. The kitchen, which Savannah had hoped would be better maintained, was also in a state of disrepair. Dishes were piled up in the sink, half-eaten takeout containers sat on the countertops, and the refrigerator was filled with expired food that had long since spoiled. In fact, there was a pizza box in the corner that was so old it was stuck to the counter. "I'm not even sure how that's possible," Savannah joked, trying to lighten the mood. "But it's here, and it's terrifying." As she surveyed the apartment, Savannah noted that it wasn't just the physical mess that bothered her. It was the underlying lack of care and attention to the space. It feels like Grayson has just given up on taking care of himself and his surroundings. He doesn't even seem to care anymore. "I mean, there's no excuse for this kind of neglect," Savannah lamented. Grayson's response and the reality check. After some initial defensiveness, Grayson began to realize that his sister's concern was valid. Although he had been living in his apartment for some time and had managed to juggle the pressures of his career, he hadn't paid much attention to his personal living space. For Grayson, the idea of living clean had always seemed like a distant concept. He had been so focused on his future, his social life, and his growing presence in the entertainment world that the upkeep of his apartment had taken a backseat. In a heartfelt conversation between the two, Grayson admitted that he had been too wrapped up in the excitement of his newfound independence and had neglected the basics of self-care. "I never thought about how important it is to have a clean, comfortable space," he said, acknowledging his mistake. "I guess I just thought that I'd be able to keep up with everything, but now I realize that it's not just about work. It's about taking care of myself." Savannah, who has always been the more responsible of the two, didn't sugarcoat her feelings but offered some much-needed guidance. "Look, Grayson, you've got to take control of your environment. Your living space is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. If you want to feel good, you need to start by cleaning up your act, literally." The aftermath following the realization that he could no longer live in such a chaotic environment, Grayson took immediate steps to clean up. Savannah, Ever the supportive big sister, offered her help to guide him through the process of getting his apartment into shape. While Grayson had initially resisted the idea of cleaning, with a little prodding and motivation from his sister, he found himself motivated to transform his space into a place he could truly be proud of. Within a few days, Grayson had tackled the mess, throwing out expired food, cleaning the bathroom, and even putting away the piles of laundry that had overtaken his living room. Although it was